Hello and welcome all. We are here with yet another chapter of history, chapter number 10, Changing Life, part 2. Students, remove your textbook to page number 52. In this chapter, we shall look at the changes that have taken place in the field of language, sports, theatres, and films, newspapers, and television. The changes after the post independence period till today. Many changes in different fields, and also the change in the life of the people that we shall study in this chapter. So let's begin with language.
The first thing you need to know about India's linguistic landscape is that it is impossible to speak about an Indian language as if there were only one. Did you know that if two unknown Indians met randomly on the street, there would be only 36% chance that they would understand each other? Of course, that 36% depends a lot on their ethnicity and place of origin. India is a home to several hundred languages. Pretty much everybody knows that India is an upcoming country with a huge economy and over a billion people. We strongly believe that India is an emerging power and localization needs will rise every year. Well then, what is the national language of India? If you answered Hindi, think again. India has no national language. After gaining independence from the British in 1947, the leaders of the new country took the issue of national language seriously. On one hand, one language would help unite the vast population, but on the other, they realized that it would be difficult for everyone to accept only one language at the expense of their regional ones. Despite planning, this decision led to violent protests by groups who felt that Hindi was imposed on them, especially in the states in the south, where most people spoke languages of the Dravidian family, very different from Hindi. As a result, Parliament enacted the Official Languages Act in 1963, which provided for the continued use of Hindi for official purposes along with English even after 1965. The English schedule of the Constitution consists of the following 22 official languages: Assamese, Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmiri, Konkani, Malayalam, Manipuri, Marathi, Nepali, Oriya, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Sindhi, Tamil, Telugu, Urdu, Bodo, Santali, Maithili and Dogri. Each Indian state and union territory can decide which one it wants to adapt. For years, classifying the languages spoken in India has been a very complicated task, since experts have to differentiate between dialects and mother tongues that share many similarities. This isn't exactly surprising considering that India is the seventh largest country in the world with over 1.3 billion people living in India. The distance between northern India and southern India is similar to the distance between Canada and Mexico. More than 19,500 languages or dialects are spoken in India as mother tongues, of which almost 1,369 are considered dialects and only 121 are recognized as languages. We are proud of the fact that India is a linguistic treasure trove, a nation widely acknowledged for its extraordinary linguistic and cultural diversity. The plurality and coexistence of multiple languages add color and vitality to our country and make it unique. Given the fact, it's very bothersome to know that 220 Indian languages have disappeared in the last 50 years and that another 150 could vanish in the next half century. And why is that so? Now that's because speakers die and their children fail to learn their ancestral tongues. It so happens that wherever people move from one livelihood to another livelihood, they have migrated out of their language zone, right? They carry their language for a while. But in the second generation or the third generation, a shift takes place. The third generation no longer feels related to the earlier language the same way. The mother tongue lays a strong foundation for the expression of creativity. Remember, dear students, language is the vital unseen thread that links the past with the present. In fact, they are the lifeblood of our identity. However, it is deeply disturbing that we are not doing enough to preserve our rich native languages. Every effort must be made to nurture the creativity at the formative stage. English has become the world's lingua franca, and it is probably due to the fact that it is the common language or mode of communication that enables to understand one another regardless of their cultural and ethnical backgrounds. It makes communication a lot easier and understanding one another has become efficient. Although for many English is still a symbol of the British Raj, while others enjoy its continued use as an official language in India, especially because it's unofficially recognized as a language of business. Many tourists say that the better your English is, the more money you have in the eyes of Indian merchants. For many people in India, English is no longer a foreign language. Because after almost 100 years of colonization, Indians made it their own. For cultural and linguistic reasons, Indian English is very different from Standard English and is best known as Hinglish. It is also used as a language of business, especially in a very lucrative sectors such as technology and customer service. During
The next topic, that is sports.
During the pre-independence period, only a few selected games were known to people in general. However, some sports persons changed the situation. This enhanced the status of both the sports and the sports persons. To show you what I mean, let me introduce you to a legend, Geet Sethi, an obsessive compulsive champion who made music with the billiards cue. It is said that Sethi was born for the game of billiards. You know, dear students, as a 13-year-old, Geet Sethi was a national level junior swimmer. He was the junior guy who was playing table tennis at a competitive level as well as badminton in school and basketball too. And that was when he first saw the billiard table. A month or two later, he kind of stopped everything else. Geet Sethi was 13 years old when he first picked up the game. A year later, Sethi was the junior state champion. By 15, he won the junior nationals, and by then he was completely hooked. Geet's first taste of success came in 1982 when he won the Indian National Billiards Championship, beating none other than the legendary Michael Ferreira. He won the first he won the World Professional Billiards Championship 5 times, the World Amateur Championship 3 times, and an Asian Games gold medal in 1998. He was also a 7-time national billiards champion and 4-time national snooker. There was a time from an era forgotten when this man was making us proud on the billiards table. No wonder why. He was rightly known as the king of billiards table. So basically, Geet Sethi is a professional player of English billiards who dominated the sport throughout much of the 1990s and a notable amateur ex-pro snooker player. His success made the game popular in India, and newspapers began to report news about billiards. In such a way, he made a new field available to rising sportspersons in India. Now, let us look back at the star performers from the 1983 Cricket World Cup. In 1983, Kapil Dev and his India side made history as they won the ICC Cricket World Cup for the first time. Lords was the scene for India's greatest cricketing triumph at the time, as they beat two-time winners West Indies by 43 runs to lift the coveted trophy. Kapil Dev famously became the first Indian captain to lift the Cricket World Cup on the 25th June 1983. Cricket instantly won great popularity across the country. December 28, 1983 saw history in the making. After a long time, one long-standing record in Test cricket was broken. Sunil Gavaskar went past Sir Don Bradman for the most Test hundreds. This was his 30th century and he would hold this record for almost 22 years till Sachin Tendulkar broke it in 2005. In 1985, India won the Benson and Hedges World Cup Championship of Cricket. As a result, cricket came to be played in all states to a lesser or greater extent, but at the cost of indigenous games. Live telecasts of the full 5 days or one-day matches also became available. The Olympic Games. It is a time of the year when the achievements of sportspersons at the highest level are remembered and celebrated. India has won a total of 28 medals at the Summer Games, with hockey being the most successful sport. India's participation at the Olympic Games precedes the creation of the nation itself. But it's largely been this century that has yielded medals of all colors. Here's a run through sports-wise of all the Indians representatives or otherwise who bagged Olympic medals. Athletics. India, before getting independence, started their maiden Olympic stint with Norman Pritchard at the 1900 Paris Olympics. The official record on the Olympic website attributes it to Norman Pritchard, who won 2 silver medals at the 1900 Paris Games in athletics, 200 meters in sprint and hurdles. This achievement made him till date India's most successful track and field athlete as well as the most decorated individual Indian Olympian. He kicked off the list of Indian Olympic winners. Weightlifting. Indian weightlifter Karnam Malleshwari holds the distinguished honor of being the first woman from India to win a medal at the Olympics. At the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games, weightlifter Karnam Malleshwari marked her place in Olympic and Indian sports history as she lifted 110 kg in the snatch and 130 kg in the clean and jerk for a total of 240 kg. She took the bronze medal and became India's first woman to win an Olympic medal. Boxing. As an amateur, Vijendra Singh, an Indian professional boxer, won bronze medals at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, 2009 World Championships and 2010 Commonwealth Games as well as silver medals at the 2006 and 2014 Commonwealth Games. all in the middleweight division. Badminton. Sania Nehwal won the bronze medal at the 2012 London Olympics and became the first Indian to win a medal in the sport at the mega event. PV Sindhu is arguably the most prolific Indian badminton star of the 21st century as the first Indian woman to win a silver medal at the Olympics. Hockey. India's hockey team is the most successful team ever in the Olympics, having won 8 gold medals. Star of the Indian hockey team that dominated the sport in the years before the World War II. The prolific Major Dhyan Chand played a key role in India's 3 consecutive gold hauls at the Olympic Games in 1928, 1932 and 1936. Shooting. It was Rajasthan's Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore who became the first shooter to help India get a silver medal at the Olympics and inspiring an entire generation to take up the sport, the fruits of which the nation is reaping today. Following the footsteps of Rathore, India saw Abhinav Bindra taking it a level up in the following edition of the tournament as he won the gold medal in men's 10 meters air rifle. He remains the only Olympic gold medalist in India and perhaps the most notable among the Indian Olympic winners. India's shooting was seen rising from strength to strength in the next edition, where Vijay Kumar won the silver medal in men's 25 meters rapid pistol event, while Gagan Narang won the bronze medal in the men's 10 meters air rifle. Tennis. India had gone without a medal of any sort for 4 straight editions before a young Leander Paes got them to winning ways in 1996 with a bronze. He is widely considered one of the greatest doubles players in the history of the sport. He won a bronze medal for India in singles in the 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games. He competed in consecutive Olympics from 1992 to 2016, making him the first Indian and only tennis player to compete at 7 Olympic Games. Wrestling. At a time when India was epitomizing supremacy in the field of hockey, Maharashtra's Kashaba Dadasaheb Jadhav turned heads by winning the bronze medal. It took India 56 years to win their second medal in wrestling after Jadhav's heroic feat in 1952. Sushil Kumar, an Indian freestyle wrestler, was competing in the 66 kg weight division when he won the 2010 world title, a silver medal at the 2012 London Olympics and a bronze medal at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, which made him the only Indian to win 2 individual Olympic medals. Apart from Sushil Kumar, India also saw veteran Yogeshwar Dutt clinching a silver medal in wrestling's freestyle. At the 2016 Summer Olympics, Sakshi Malik, an Indian freestyle wrestler, won the bronze medal in the 56 kg category, becoming the first Indian female wrestler to win a medal at the Olympics. From independent India's first medal, the hockey gold, at the 1948 London Games, to India's first individual gold, Abhinav Bindra at 2008 Beijing, each one of the moments are remembered and celebrated every August for the significance they hold. Dear students, today we have discussed about the change that has taken place in India in the fields of language and sports. We will continue with the lesson in our next video. That's all for now.
Thank you.